This is Morning Edition with Neil Ford and Sumiri Sugimoto, 13 minutes before 8 o'clock.
The Anglican Church ordained a new minister on Sunday, a minister with a difference. Dorothy Thorpe is only the second woman in the territory to be ordained as a deacon. If all goes well, she will be the territory's first woman priest next year. How does it feel to be part of a major change in Christian worship? Dorothy Thorpe is here this morning to tell us.
Welcome to the show, Miss Thorpe.
Well, thank you very much. I'm happy to be here.
You have spent years and years as an Anglican lay worker outside the ministry. Why do you feel it's necessary to go farther and be ordained?
Well, as a matter of fact, I think that it's the conclusion of a long effort to fulfill a calling that I had many years ago as an undergraduate at Trinity College. I was called to a total commitment to our Lord and the service of His church, and I wasn't able to fulfill that calling completely until now, because nobody, including myself, thought in terms of women being part of the main ministry of the church.
Now that it is possible, why do you think it's important for women to be priests in the Anglican Church?
Well, I think that any endeavor involving human beings benefits from both feminine input and masculine.
Well, you know, there is opposition to women becoming priests.
Yes, I realize that, and I believe that that opposition is based on a real concern for the welfare of the church and for the Christian faith, its future. But I don't think that it's necessary to be anxious that if the Lord calls a person who happens to be a woman to serve Him in the ministry, I think that His will be done regardless.
Well, where does this feeling against women priests come from?
Well, at the time that the General Synod of the Anglican Church made the decision to include women in full ministry, the statement that struck me was, there is no theological reason why women should not be ordained. And so I realized that the objections are primarily psychological and emotional, and that ultimately they would disappear.
But years and years of male chauvinism coming to an end right now.
Well, perhaps that's it.
Nevertheless, though, you're going to have some personal problems, probably, theory aside, when you go out and work in a parish. There are going to be people out there who don't think you should be a priest. How are you going to deal with that?
Well, I think the only way to deal with any kind of opposition is to love people and pray for them and try to work with them in spite of their objections.
Both inside and outside the church, there could be other priests who feel the same way.
Yes, that's true, but usually when there's a job to be done, sincerely intentioned people will cooperate.
Another thing that occurs to me is church unity. Right now, the Anglican Church is talking with the Roman Catholic Church about a possible union. Of course, the Roman Catholics are dead against women in the clergy as priests. That could be an obstacle.
Yes, although I have noticed in the Catholic Church itself that there are indications of a change.
Meantime, what would you like to do in the Yukon?
Well, I think that most of the problems in our society stem from a lack of faith, and I would hope to see that many people renewing their faith in the church and finding the peace and joy and fulfillment which, to my experience, can only be found in and through the church. And I especially would like to see our North American Indian people entering into a full acceptance and fulfillment of their lives in the church.
Do you hope to work in an Indian community then?
I would like to.
What kind of background would you bring to that?
Well, I was born in Saskatchewan on a wheat farm, and there were many North American Indian people there whom I got to know and appreciate. I think they have something valuable to contribute, not only to the church, but to our whole society.
Thanks for being part of the show this morning.
Thank you.
The Reverend Dorothy